Hi, welcome to our first episode, and also the first of our 3-part pilot recording. These ones were recorded on something of a whim. What was supposed to be a production meeting just turned into production without us really planning for it, so our recording environment was less than ideal. We've cleaned it up as best we can, but we do sound a little tinny. The quality of recording gets quite a bit better starting in episode 4 and then really takes a jump in episode 6, so stick with us. We're going to have a lot of fun in these early episodes. And, of course, special thanks to James and Brian from the DCAU Watchtower's Jump on the Batwagon podcast for not suing me into the dirt for completely ripping off their style. It gets a bit less blatant as we go on, I promise.
Hey!
Paisanos, it's the
Excuse me, princess!
Super Show!
Welcome to the Excuse Me Princess Super Show, where we're going to be watching all 65 episodes of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and The Legend of Zelda in air date order. I'm John.
I'm Aaron. And this
is our very first episode.
And we have definitely not recorded this before.
Yeah, this really isn't our second take at an intro because the first one collapsed under its own weight.
I personally blame Birdo.
Yeah, or Ostro, depending if you read the manual when you were a kid. Anyway, we're going to be looking at the first episode of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, made by DiC, originally first airing in 1989.
On September 5th.
I thought it was September 4th. But that's the part we get to later. I'm talking about the show when the show began.
Oh, yes.
Produced by DiC Entertainment in 1989, the Super Mario Bros. Super Show was a syndicated animated series with live-action wraparound segments starring Captain Lou Albano as Mario and Danny Wells as Luigi, who also provide their voices during the cartoon segments Monday through Thursday. On Friday, you got a Legend of Zelda cartoon, which helps you get through the week because it's better than swimming through this dreck. Today we're going to be looking at the first episode, but first I'm going to let Aaron talk some more because it's his intro too.
So, did I watch the Super Mario Super Show?
Yes. How about we start that again? Aaron, what's your history with the Super Mario Bros. Super Show?
I watched it. I do not remember anything about it. This is pretty much my first watch through once again.
Boy, we're ripping off the... Let's just say that we're borrowing the format from one of my favorite podcasts, and it's unintentionally going to be even closer than I imagined. I, on the other hand, remember watching the show as a kid. I don't remember details that well, but I remember here in Canada on YTV in the mid-90s, it was used as early morning filler. We're talking real early morning filler. The kind of hours that they used to air Pokemon at before school, only even worse. But we also get to see it on the weekends occasionally, and that's when I'd get to see the Zelda cartoon sometimes, which was always exciting. I forgot about the show for a long time until in around 2004 or 5, Yahoo Kids, then known as Yahooligans, started putting episodes up on their website for viewing. We're talking about, 180p over the best broadband we had at the time. It was Potato Vision. Fortunately, the show doesn't look all that good on DVD, so you really don't notice a difference. But that's when I was finally re-exposed to the show, and I learned not only is it terrible, but that it's great, and I love it, and I hate it, and I want to see it again, and I never want to see it again. And that's why we're watching it today.
And definitely did not watch it earlier.
Yes, we definitely didn't do our first intro leading to the episode, and then taken it again because, well, we did it terribly.
Speaking of the Zelda cartoon, didn't you do a creative project with it? Let's say in 2009?
10. Something like that. If you've ever seen a video on YouTube or shared around elsewhere where the Zelda cartoon had censor bleeps placed over it, that was probably the one I made. It's still worth a laugh now and then. Just search Zelda cartoon censored.
And make sure it's by Super Luigi 64.
Actually, it's on Cash My Man Productions.
Oh, even better.
Yeah. But anyway, the episode we're looking at today is episode 1, The Bird. The wraparound segment is called Neatness Counts. The episode was written by Bruce Shelley and Reed Shelley, who we think are a father and son writing team, but there's very little information about them, and originally aired September 4th, 1989. So, without further ado, It's
A break.
pasta power time.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I shouldn't cut you off like that.
that's okay. We're going to erase all of this.
You'd think that, but...
I also know that. But. You're a butt. But. Anyway, we're going to go watch the episode, and we'll be back to talk about it later.
Adios.
And we're back. We've only been gone long enough to watch the cartoon. We definitely didn't leave and sing karaoke for 3 hours and then come back at 2 in the morning. Right, Aaron?
Yeah. And the bar, was, if we did go, was definitely top notch.
Yeah, we're going to schedule this a little better next time. This is some of that early days stuff that'll be really funny if anyone's still listening. So anyway, Neatness Counts / The Bird. You want to start with Neatness Counts?
Yeah, let's start with Neatness Counts, which starred Lou Albano,
Yeah.
Danny Wells.
Yeah. We'll go through it and then we'll do the cast after. Or we can do the cast now. Fine. Okay. So, playing Mario, Captain, quote unquote, Lou Albano, famed wrestler, and then manager of wrestling talent in the WWF. Played one of those lovely evil wrestling managers that you love to see. He also had a few movie roles. He was in Wise Guys with Danny DeVito. He was a recurring guest on Hollywood Squares in the 80s. And he played Cyndi Lauper's father in several music videos. Most famously, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Captain Lou passed away in 2009 of heart failure at 76. And he would play and voice Mario in every episode of The Super Show.
Next up, we have Danny Wells, who is Luigi, best known as Charlie the bartender on The Jeffersons, and was in many single episode roles, such as The A-Team, Murder, She Wrote, and in the future from this show, Johnny Bravo. Sadly, he passed away in 2013 of cancer during the year of Luigi.
Ironically enough. And then the special guest of the episode is Nicole Eggert, who would be later best known for roles in 2 seasons of Baywatch.
At the time, she was known for her reoccurring role in Charles in Charge.
I thought it was going to be on the screen. That's where the gesturing came from.
Oh.
I was doing wide gesturing. Oh, he had it in tiny little type on his tiny little laptop from his tiny little brain. Very good.
Yes, because when we originally talked about it, you were going to be doing both Luigi and Mario, and I was going to be doing the guest.
Did we talk about it, or did we just think about it real hard?
We talked about it.
Fine. Okay, talk about it. Okay, anyway. Yeah, all of these are going to have 80s pseudo-celebrities, so we're going to see some interesting people. But in this, Neatness Counts. Nicole, how does this one start? We totally just watched it.
So, to begin with, they have pizza all over them, and by that I mean a strand of pizza on Mario.
Spaghetti.
And even better. But
I've been known to have a strand of pizza on my overalls, but this was spaghetti.
And meat sauce on Luigi's overalls, where out of the medicine cabinet comes Nicole Eggert.
Now hold that thought. The title of the episode comes from the fact that supposedly it's an old family mantra of theirs that neatness counts. At which point they immediately begin showing up how unneat they are. This opens in the Mario Brothers plumbing shop in Brooklyn, New York, and loosely takes place before the brothers end up in the Mushroom Kingdom. So they had a pretty interesting life even before the superhero stuff. So anyway, they open the medicine cabinet, and there's Nicole Eggert.
Who needs help unclogging a sink.
And rather than just getting in their van and going to her place, they decide to give her a demonstration in the shop.
Of their clogged sink.
Yeah, it's a display model. Just in case.
This is where things go terribly, terribly wrong, as she has a party to get to.
Yeah.
And first gets sprayed with water, covered in soot,
Covered in cake.
covered in cake, covered in pie.
sits in a pizza. And I think that was about it.
Oh, no, the garbage suit.
Oh, the garbage chute from the building above them.
Yes.
Yeah. The brothers are aghast, thinking at the very least they've lost the contract. But lo and behold, it turns out she's going to a sloppy party, and they've saved her the trouble of going to find the best costume, because she's sure to win now. They celebrate by covering her with cake.
And more garbage.
And more garbage. And if anybody got excited by this, I fear for them.
But
Near the end of it, they turn to the camera and introduce us to clips from Friday's Zelda episode, giving us a faint hope that this will get better. But first, it's going to get worse.
So, the bird. What could it potentially mean? Well, to start with, they have just escaped from Bowser, not Browser.
King Koopa, not Bowser.
Even better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing we should establish now. This show uses all the 80s terms, which is ironic because they pull a reverse Eggman and they're actually calling King Koopa the correct thing. But Princess Peach is Princess Toadstool.
Toad is still Toad.
Yeah. Luigi's still Luigi, last I checked.
And Mario is Sonic.
Yeah.
Wait.
Anyway, so according to Mario's plumber's log, 3 guesses what that's a spoof on. They've just rescued Princess Toadstool from King Koopa and are searching for the power that will allow them to save her kingdom once and for all, and something. And they're trudging their way through the Arctic of Ice World. Unfortunately for Toad, a very nearsighted Birdo swoops down, carries him off, and is confusing him for her lost child. Antics ensue.
Bowser finds out that King Koopa finds out
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but that's fine.
that the Mario Brothers and Princess Toadstool are in the mountain range and sends out bombs.
Being carried by albatrosses from Mario 2, which is another point here. The games come out... Sorry about that. The cartoon came out when the most recent game was Super Mario Bros. 2, and uses an odd mishmash of bad guys from it, all under the command of King Koopa with no wart in sight. But there's going to be Mousers and Birdos and albatrosses, along with Koopa Troopas and the occasional Goomba. So, they never ran out of funny things to draw, at least, including 2 of these little snow blizzard guys. What do they call it? Chillers or something?
Something.
I don't remember my Mario 2 enemies. And they're the ones that end up licking King Koopa's feet. Because this is going to be a weird show. If I want my feet licked, I'll ask for it. I want my feet licked. Episode 1. We got Toad being treated as an adult baby, and we got Bowser getting his feet licked. It's all downhill from here. But anyway, to carry on with the synopsis, which is getting away from us, the Toad tries fruitlessly to convince the Birdo that she's got the wrong guy. Well, the Mario Brothers and Princess Toadstool, I almost said Peach that time, get chased into a snowy cave and are seemingly buried in an avalanche.
Surprise, surprise. There is a fire flower, which will turn you into Super Mario.
Yeah, it's not quite how it works, but it's close enough.
Yeah.
And it gives him pasta power.
In this episode, we have 4 pasta powers. Our pasta power count is at 4. We will revisit this at the end of each episode.
Yeah, we won't bring it up in the middle so much unless there's a particularly egregious use of it, like when they do it as a nursery rhyme later. I've seen that one more recently.
Spoilers.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, stay tuned for that, folks. This is something to look forward to. But they blow their way out of the cave with the fire flower. Bowser sends more bomb-dropping albatrosses after them, and Koopa Troopa's on skis.
they find Birdo's lost child.
Oh, yes, that's right. We'll do a lot better next time for watching the episode and not leaving for 3 hours before we come back.
We make that claim, but we do not promise to uphold to it.
Yeah. But, that's right. After they blast their way out of the cave, they find the baby Birdo, Cheepy, frozen in a block of ice, which Mario melts the fire flower. And then the Mario brothers keep the Koopas distracted. Well, Toad, who just escaped from the Mama Birdo after being dropped for a flying lesson, and using his mushroom hat, which is a hat, as a parachute, agrees to take the bird back up to the nest. Or, no. He goes back up to tell them that he found her real baby.
And luckily, Birdo, being the good sport but nearsighted monster that she is, decides that she wants to help, and thus turnips are being dropped from the sky.
Complete with Mario 2 sound effects. Just as the Mario brothers are cornered by Koopa and having lost the firepower due to an ill-timed explosion, turnips begin raining down from the sky from Toad and... I almost said... From Toad and Birdo. And getting bonked on the head by a single turnip is enough to cause Koopa to call for a retreat. Because he follows the 1980s Skeletor Cobra Commander style of villainy, where the second things look bad, you say, screw it, let's do this again next time.
If you run away while you're still alive, you can run away later.
Yeah. I think actually if I remember, that's a catchphrase later on. He who coops and runs away lives to coop another day.
Spoilers!
Yeah. Sorry.
God damn it. This is like the first time I've watched this show that I remember.
Yeah. This is the first time I've seen this show in about 20 years. 15 years.
But you at least...
How many years has it been since 2005?
Oh, that's a good question. And I do not want to answer it because it is 17.
Ooh.
18.
Yeah, 2004.
It's 18.
2003 to 4 to 5 was when it was on Yahooligans, and that's when I watched it. Anyway, that's our synopsis. How did you like the episode?
Oddly, hated it, but not in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
It was a decent start for a pilot. The live action stuff was pretty decent.
Yeah.
You have mentioned that there are no writing credits for the live action part because most of it is ad-libbed, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. That's my understanding. And after we're done with the synopsis and review, we'll get into the nitty-gritty about the writing credits for the actual episode. But this particular one was written by the same writers who wrote the series Bible. So this is very much in the vision of what they had in mind. Other writers would trudge it through cliche cartoon movie parody tropes. Which will be better? Worse? King Koopa dressed as a Nazi? We'll see. All this and more on the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Alright.
I really liked the episode myself, because I'm reviewing it too, not just you. One thing that we both really enjoyed was the use of Mario music and sound effects very liberally. In fact, there was a little more Mario music than there was when the show originally aired.
Why is that, John?
Well, Aaron, like a lot of cartoons at the time, it used covers of pop music during chase scenes. You know, some versions of Scooby-Doo used to do that. Chipmunks was, not just necessarily during chase scenes, but the Chipmunks was big on those. And by the time it started to rerun in the 90s, those were all scrubbed for copyright issues. And those are the versions, outside of, I think, some European DVDs, that are released on DVD and used on modern streaming platforms, including the aforementioned, depending on where we put the drop in, where we mention it, Wild Brain's YouTube channel, the official upload, and also the legal streaming on Amazon Prime. At least here in Canada. We can't promise it's there in the States or anywhere else you're listening to this. And if you don't feel like supporting Amazon, watch it for free on YouTube. And if you don't feel like watching it on YouTube, why are you even here? We got better things to do than to cater to you. Well, that's not exactly true.
I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah, we could be asleep right now. At 2:02 in the morning.
Around the time we were recording episode 6, Aaron actually found a compilation of all the cover songs used in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show reinserted with their video footage. So special thanks to the Super Mario Bros. Super Headquarters. That's the Super Mario Bros. Super HQ on YouTube. Link in the description below for their full compilation video. The song that was in this episode was a cover of the Trashmen's Surfin' Bird.
Who threw that vegetable?
We did!
Everybody's heard about the bird, 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 bird. The bird's a word, well, a bird, bird,
Retreat!
bird. Bird is a word,
Retreat!
well, a bird, 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 well, a bird is a word, well, a bird, bird, bird.
And before anyone asks our views on the Mario movie, the first couple of episodes, not sure how many, are coming out before the new Mario movie will air.
Yeah, we'll make that clear now. These are going to be recorded well in advance of whenever they're edited and put together, provided we like them enough to put them up. But, that being said, if anyone is interested, if we have some viewers by then, we'll certainly give our views on it in a special episode later. And we'll probably review the original Mario movie from the 90s in its own episode at some point as well. Maybe as a series finale kind of thing, since that did come out after the rest of these.
Yes.
But that's it for the review. We'll move on to the details here. Alright, let's get into the cast. We'll go into more detail on the regulars in this episode, and then for the rest of the show, we'll only mention the special guest stars when needed, and especially the guest stars in the live actions. So besides Captain Lou and Danny Wells, we've got Jeannie Elias as Princess Toadstool. At the time, she was most well known having been Joey and Margaret in the Dennis the Menace cartoon. And she's actually still active as a voiceover artist in many productions still today. She's Canadian from Montreal, Quebec, and her most recent roles include in video games such as Horizon Forbidden West and the Mass Effect Remastered series. Or, well, just the Mass Effect series, including Remastered is the most recent one.
Now, another thing to notice, the rest of the cast is Canadian-based. All of them. So we're going to move over to Toad.
Before we're done with Jeannie Elias, as of this recording, it's also unconfirmed, but it's rumored that she's the voice of the lady in the Mario Brothers Plumbing commercial for the current Super Mario Brothers movie. Thank you, Super Mario Bros. It seems the only thing you haven't drained is my bank account. Supposedly that's her, but we haven't seen confirmation yet. We'll let you know as that story develops.
Just recording another drop-in here with the benefit of hindsight. The lady in the Mario Brothers Plumbing commercial is actually Jessica DeChico, who also voiced the Mario Brothers mother, the Yellow Toad, and Pauline. She's best known as the title character in The Buzz on Maggie, and also known for roles in Adventure Time, The Loud House, and Lunatics Unleashed.
Next up, we have John Stalker as Toad, who, in an ironic twist, his Toad voice is very close to the modern Toad voice, compared to the Toad voice used in the 90s, like in Mario Kart 64.
Yes.
He voiced Mr. Beastly in the Care Bears, and he also appeared in a lot of other contemporary cartoons at the time, like Ewoks, Droids, a lot of Canadian Nelvana shows, and even did voices in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. He's still currently active as a voice actor, and we only listed him as Canadian here, but I believe he was from Toronto.
Yes. And last up, we have Harvey Atkin, who played King Koopa. He's best known for his roles in Cagney and Lacey, continued into all the other cartoons, such as the last three. Is also Canadian, from Toronto, I believe. Voiced Sam in the Sam and Max freelance police cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly also has passed away in 2017 of a brain tumor.
Recording a drop-in here because I'd kick myself if I didn't. Harvey Atkin was also the narrator for Leon's Furniture Store commercials up here in Canada.
Canada, we've seen your furniture and, well, frankly, something has to be done. Introducing Leon's first ever cross-Canada inventory clearance. There's never been an event like it because, we never had one. Huge savings on furniture, appliances, and electronics. Plus, there's no money down, no monthly payments, and no interest until 1999. Leon's first ever cross-Canada inventory clearance. Well, don't just sit there.
Moving on to the episode-specific credits, one little-known secret about animation voice acting is that you can voice 2 and sometimes 3 characters and still only get paid once. So besides the main characters that they voice, we also have Harvey Atkin as the worm at the end that Mario thinks is going to be spaghetti. Jeannie Elias plays Cheapy and the Mom Birdo. John Stalker voices the Flurries, who report to King Koopa and end up licking his feet. And we also have Robert Boxsteele, Greg Morton, Dory and Joe Clark, Joyce Gordon, Rob Cowan, Greg Swanson, Denise Pigeon, Diane Fabian, Marilyn Lightstone, Marla Lakovsky, and James Murray as additional voices. We also have special note is Tabitha St. Germain, then credited as Pauline Gillis, who is now a very famous Canadian voice actress, but at the time was just doing additional voices, along with all these others who were mentioned. This will probably be the only time we mention them, because I think this is actually a blanket list. But we'll see. Now, we mentioned about the music already.
Yes.
We'll quickly go into the writing credits. The episode, the cartoon episode, was written by Reed and Bruce Shelley, who, as far as we're aware, are a father and son writing team. And they also wrote the series Bible and helped develop the series for television. And they would go on to also develop the Bible for Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog Sat AM. And I think Sonic Underground as well. It was also adapted for animation by Bob Forward, who would be more, most of his work on the series would be for the Zelda cartoon, but he would go on to write a lot of Beast Wars and Reboot. Well, Beast Wars anyway, for sure. I can't look up everybody. Anyway, it was written by Bruce and Reed Shelley, and the series director is Dan Reba, who would go on to fame for being a main director on Batman the Animated Series. Let's see. I think we touched all the bases, so we'll just do some of the wrap-up stuff now. I don't want to look like I'm railroading the show. Do you have anything?
Oh, yes.
Do you have anything to add about the episodes we've seen before we start our ending preamble?
Well, to begin with, no, I do not. I believe that what I would like to say is we do have a Twitter and an email that you can send us questions on.
So you want to get into the ending preamble?
Yes.
Very good. Yeah. Well, to start with, however, let's see. Our pasta power counter is at 4. We'll keep you up to date on that. Before we wind down the show, I'm going to give you the title of the next episode, and you're going to guess what it's about, and we'll see how close you get it when we watch the next one. Sound like fun? No? Good. No, seriously, you want to do it?
Yeah, I do. So let's see what it is.
Okay, episode number 2. We'll just guess for the cartoons, because the live-action ones are pretty opaque.
Let's do both.
Fine. Okay, the live-action segment is called Day of the Orphan.
Oh, it is the day that both Mario and Luigi were set in the streets of Brooklyn as children because their parents did not want them.
Okay. We'll keep score at home, see how many of these you get. Now, the cartoon episode, at the very least, we'll see if you can guess the pop culture parody it's going to be. King Mario of Cramelot.
Ooh. This is definitely going to be King Arthur, but which one? Round Table is my guess.
That's probably a good guess. Who's the only other King Arthur we know? Like Aquaman?
Yeah.
I don't think Mario's going to be Aquaman in episode 2. They hadn't shook that Super Fred stink off of Aquaman yet by this point.
No, that didn't happen until 1991 when Peter David took over writing.
And he got the hook hand.
Yeah.
If you remember Aquaman's hook hand.
And then later his water hand.
Nobody remembers the water hand.
It allowed him to control water. It was great.
Uh-huh. How come he doesn't have it anymore?
That's a story for another podcast.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's been. This is great. This is good TV. I want to take the whole thing from the top with the stuff. Is that all right? With the preamble?
Yes.
If you want to reach out to the show, if you have questions or comments, feel free to leave it in the YouTube comments below. And if you want to reach us on Twitter...
Excuse me, Sup Show, because Super added too many characters for the name.
You can also be reached by email at excusemesupershow@gmail.com. Alright, I think that's it for our inaugural episode. We'll try to untangle this spaghetti another day. And until next time,
Do the Mario!